The pen trembles in my hand, not because I'm uncertain God knows I've read this contract a dozen times, but because his eyes haven't left mine since I walked into his office 20 minutes ago. Alexander Cross sits behind a desk of polished obsidian, perfectly still except for the slow rotation of his platinum cufflinks, waiting. Second thoughts, Miss Harper. His voice carries that familiar edge of amusement, as if he knows exactly what effect he has on me. I force myself to meet his gaze. Those steel gray eyes that first captured me at the university career fair 3 weeks ago, when he approached my literature booth with a proposition that changed everything. A personal assistant position, unconventional terms, exceptional compensation, none at all. The light slides out smoother than I expected. The late afternoon sun streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, casting shadows across his angular features. He's younger than most men with his wealth, 32 to my 22. But there's something ancient in the way he watches me. Predatory, patient. My signature flows across the bottom line of page 12. Final page. The contract that will bind me to him for the next 6 months. Excellent. He stands, moving around the desk with liquid grace. His presence fills the space between us. Expensive cologne mixing with something darker, leather, perhaps, or cedar from the bookshelves that line his penthouse office walls. I should step back. Professional distance. Instead, I find myself drawn forward as he extends his hand. Welcome to Cross Enterprises, Sophia. My name sounds different in his mouth. Richer, more dangerous. His palm is warm, fingers long and sure as they envelope mine. The handshake lasts a beat too long, then another. My pulse hammers against my throat, and from the slight curve of his lips, I suspect he can see it. Your first assignment begins tonight. He doesn't release my hand. There's a charity gala. You'll accompany me tonight. I hadn't expected to start so soon. I don't have anything appropriate to wear to taken care of. He gestures toward the leather sofa where I notice, for the first time, a garment bag draped across the armrest, black silk ribbon, designer label visible through the clear window. Heat floods my cheeks. You bought me a dress. Part of the job. Requirements. His thumb brushes across my knuckles before he finally releases my hand. Image matters in my world, Miss Harper. You represent me now. The weight of those words settles between us. I represent him. The implications make my stomach flutter with something between excitement and terror. The car will collect you at 7. He returns to his desk, already reaching for another file. Business concluded. Don't disappoint me. But as I gather my purse and move toward the door, his voice stops me. Sophia. I turn back. He's watching me again. That same predatory stillness. The contract you just signed, it requires complete honesty between us. Complete trust. He sets down his pen, giving me his full attention. Are you prepared for what that means? My hand finds the door handle, cool metal against my suddenly heated palm. I signed it. Didn't I? You did. The smile that crosses his face is slow, knowing. I'm very much looking forward to seeing just how far that commitment extends. The door closes behind me with a soft click, but his words follow me into the elevator, down 43 floors, and into the busy Seattle street below. Complete trust, complete honesty. As I clutch the garment bag to my chest, one thought echoes through my mind. What exactly have I gotten myself into? The dress fits like it was made for me, which I'm beginning to suspect it was. The midnight blue silk hugs every curve, the neckline daring without being scandalous, the hemline just short enough to make me feel powerful. When I catch my reflection in his car's tinted window, I barely recognize myself. Alexander sits beside me in the back of the Mercedes, close enough that his thigh brushes mine with every turn. He's been silent since we left my apartment, but I feel his attention like heat against my skin. Nervous? He asks as we pull up to the Four Seasons. Should I be? His hand finds mine on the seat between us. Tonight, you're not just my assistant. You're my partner. These people will assume we're. He lets the sentence hang. Lovers. The word escapes before I can stop it. Yes. His fingers tighten around mine. Are you comfortable with that assumption? The valet opens my door before I can answer. But Alexander's question follows me up the red carpet and into the glittering ballroom. Am I comfortable? My body's response suggests I'm more than comfortable, I'm intoxicated by the idea. The gala is everything I expected from his world: crystal chandeliers, designer gowns, conversations conducted in careful codes about money and power. Alexander navigates it all effortlessly, his hand at the small of my back, guiding me through introductions and small talk. Sophia is finishing her master's thesis on contemporary American literature. He tells a group of donors, and the pride in his voice surprises me. "How refreshing," says an older woman dripping in diamonds, an intellectual, so rare in Alexander's usual companions. The barb hits its mark. Heat floods my face, but Alexander's hand presses more firmly against my back, steadying me. "Indeed," he says, his voice arctic. Sophia's mind is what attracted me to her first. The emphasis on mind isn't lost on anyone. The woman has the grace to look embarrassed. Later, on the terrace overlooking Elliott Bay, Alexander brings me champagne. The night air carries the scent of salt and roses from the garden below. "You handled that well," he says. "That I have a choice. There's always a choice, Sophia. You could have walked away." I study his profile against the city lights. "Is that what your other assistants did? Walked away?" "You're my first assistant." He turns to face me fully. "My first partner in any arrangement like this." The admission catches me off guard. "Then, how do you know it will work?" "I don't." His honesty is startling. "But I know you, Sophia Harper. I've been watching you for weeks. The way you handle difficult professors. The way you stand up for your ideas even when the room disagrees. The way you look at me when you think I'm not paying attention." My breath catches. "How do I look at you?" He steps closer, champagne glass, forgotten on the stone railing. "Like you want to know all my secrets. Like you're not afraid of what you might find." Maybe I should be afraid. Maybe. His hand rises to cup my cheek, thumb brushing across my lower lip. "But you signed the contract anyway." The music from inside drifts out to us, something slow and haunting. Other couples move past the terrace doors, but we might as well be alone in the world. "Dance with me," he says. It's not a request. His arms encircle me, pulling me against the solid warmth of his chest. We move together, swaying rather than truly dancing, and I can feel his heartbeat against my cheek, steady, strong. "Tell me something true," he murmurs against my hair. The champagne makes me bold. "I think about you more than I should." "What do you think about?" "What it would be like to know you, really know you. Not just the man who runs Cross Enterprises, but the man who chooses books by their spine colors and keeps a photo of a golden retriever on his desk." He stills. "You noticed Murphy, your dog, was. Cancer took him last year." The pain in his voice is raw, unguarded. He was my family." The vulnerability in that confession breaks something open in my chest. Without thinking, I press my lips to his throat, just above his pulse point. He shudders. "Sophia." My name is a warning and a prayer. "Alexander." I pull back to meet his eyes. "I'm not afraid." He stares at me for a long moment, something fierce and hungry moving across his features. Then his phone buzzes, shattering the moment. He steps back, creating distance that feels like miles. "We should go," he says, checking the message. "Early morning tomorrow." But as he helps me into the car, his hand lingers on mine, and when I catch his eyes in the rearview mirror, during the drive home, I see the same longing I feel burning in my chest. The contract was just the beginning. "You're distracted." Alexander's observation cuts through my concentration as I try to focus on the quarterly reports spread across his conference table. It's been a week since the gala, a week of stolen glances and carefully maintained professional distance that's slowly driving me insane. "I'm fine." I don't look up from the spreadsheet. "Look at me, Sophia." The command in his voice sends heat straight through me. I raise my eyes reluctantly, knowing he'll see too much. He's loosened his tie, rolled up his sleeves. The late evening light catches the strong line of his jaw, the slight stubble he hasn't had time to shave. We've been working for 12 hours straight, preparing for tomorrow's board meeting, but he still looks perfectly composed while I feel like I'm unraveling. "What's wrong?" His voice is gentler now. "Nothing's wrong." That's the problem. The admission slips out before I can stop it. He sets down his pen. "Explain." I gesture helplessly at the space between us. This, the way you look at me, the way you say my name, the way you touch me at the gala. My voice drops to a whisper. I can't concentrate on anything else. The silence stretches between us, heavy with possibility and danger. Sophia. He stands, moving around the table toward me. The contract specifies professional boundaries. I know. I stand too, facing him across the small space. But you're the one who keeps crossing them, am I? He's close enough now that I can smell his cologne. See the gold flecks in his gray eyes. Give me an example. My heart hammers against my ribs. Yesterday, in the elevator, your hand on my back lasted 3 floors longer than necessary. And this morning when you brought me coffee, your fingers brushed mine deliberately. And he's boxing me in against the conference table. Not touching but close enough that I can feel the heat of his body. My hands grip the table's edge for balance, and right now, I breathe. You're standing too close, much too close. He agrees. His hands come up to frame my face, thumbs tracing my cheekbones. Tell me to stop, Sophia. Tell me to step back. Instead, I lean into his touch. Alexander. Tell me, he repeats, but his voice has gone rough. Tell me to maintain professional boundaries. Tell me to honor the contract terms. I can't. Why? Because I want this. I want you. The confession tears from my throat. I've wanted you since that first day at the career fair when you looked at me. Like I was the only person in the room. His control breaks. I see it happen, the careful composure cracking. Something wild and hungry taking its place. His mouth crashes against mine, desperate and claiming, and I melt into him completely. The kiss is nothing like the polite brushes of lips I've known before. This is possession, demand, a claiming that reaches all the way to my soul. His hands tangle in my hair, angling my head to deepen the connection. And I respond with a hunger that surprises us both. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. This changes everything, he says against my forehead. I know, the contract doesn't say anything about this. I pull back to meet his eyes. I checked. That earns me a smile, slow and devastating. Of course you did. His hands are still framing my face, thumbs stroking across my cheeks. The gentleness after such intensity makes my heart ache. Are you sure, Sophia? Once we cross this line, I answer by pulling his mouth back to mine, that this kiss is different, slower, deeper, full of promise and possibility. His hands map the curve of my waist, the line of my spine, while mine explore the strong column of his neck, the broad expanse of his shoulders. We're so lost in each other that neither of us hears the conference room door open. Mr. Cross, I have the Morrison files you owe. We spring apart like guilty teenagers. Sarah, his longtime secretary, stands frozen in the doorway, files clutched to her chest. Sarah. Alexander's voice is perfectly level, though his lips are swollen from my kisses. Thank you. Just leave them on my desk. She nods quickly, backing out of the room, but not before I catch the knowing look in her eyes. The door closes with a soft click, leaving us alone again. But the spell is broken. I should go. I smooth down my hair, trying to regain some dignity. Sophia. He catches my hand as I move toward the door. This isn't over. The promise in those words follows me home, echoes through my dreams, and greets me when I wake. Because he's right, this is just the beginning, and I'm no longer sure who's in control of this dangerous game we're playing. The storm hits Seattle with the fury of my own internal chaos. I stand at the floor-to-ceiling windows of Alexander's penthouse apartment, watching rain lash against the glass, while thunder rolls across Elliott Bay. He called an hour ago, voice tight with something I couldn't identify, asking me to come over. Not ordering, asking. The vulnerability in that request terrified and thrilled me in equal measure. You came. His voice behind me is rough, strained. I turn to find him in the doorway, still in his suit but disheveled. Tie gone, shirt unbuttoned at the collar, hair mussed as if he's been running his hands through it. The careful control he wears like armor has cracked, and I can see the man beneath, raw, uncertain, beautiful in his brokenness. You asked me to. I move toward him, drawn by that vulnerability. What's wrong? He closes his eyes, jaw working. The Morrison deal fell through. I'm sorry. I know how much that acquisition meant to him, how hard he worked to secure it. That's not. He shakes his head, opens his eyes. The pain there takes my breath away. My father called afterward. The board wants to meet tomorrow to discuss my leadership. Understanding floods through me. His father, the legendary Richard Cross, who built the empire Alexander now runs. The man whose approval Alexander has spent his entire adult life trying to earn. What did he say? That I'm getting soft, distracted. His laugh is bitter. He's not wrong. Alexander, no. He moves past me to the windows, bracing his hands against the glass. He is right. I haven't been focused, haven't been thinking clearly, not since what? He turns to face me, and the intensity in his gaze makes me step backward. Since you. The words are barely audible above the storm. Since you walked into my world and made me want things I've never wanted, made me feel things I've spent years learning not to feel. My heart pounds against my ribs. What kind of things? Protectiveness, tenderness. His voice drops to a whisper. Love. The word hangs between us like a challenge, like a confession, like a promise. I close the distance between us in 3 steps. Alexander, don't. He catches my hands when I reach for him. Don't say anything kind. Don't try to fix this. I don't know how to be gentle, Sophia. I don't know how to love someone without destroying them. Who told you that? Anger flares in my chest. Who made you believe you're not worthy of love? He stares at me, as if I've spoken in a foreign language. Because you are. I continue, my voice gaining strength. You're worthy of love and gentleness and someone who sees the man you are. When you're not performing for the world, you don't know what you're saying. I know exactly what I'm saying. I pull my hands free and frame his face, forcing him to meet my eyes. I love you, Alexander Cross, not your money or your power or your perfect control. I love the man who keeps his dead dog's photo on his desk, the man who remembers my favorite coffee order, the man who looks at me like I'm precious. His composure finally shatters completely. A sound tears from his throat, half sob, half growl, and then he's kissing me with desperate hunger, backing me against the window. The glass is cool against my back, a sharp contrast to the heat of his body pressing into mine. I love you, he breathes against my mouth. God help me, I love you so much it terrifies me. Then stop fighting it. I thread my fingers through his hair, holding him to me. Stop punishing yourself for feeling something real. The storm outside mirrors the one between us, wild, elemental, unstoppable. His hands shake as they map my body, reverent and possessive at once. When he lifts me onto the window ledge, I wrap my legs around his waist, pulling him closer. Sophia. My name is a prayer on his lips. I need you. I need you so much I can't think straight. Then have me. I bite gently at his lower lip, smiling at his sharp intake of breath. All of me. However you want me. Lightning illuminates his face for a split second, showing me the war between desire and restraint playing out in his features. If we do this, he says, voice hoarse, there's no going back, no pretending it's just physical, no contract to hide behind. I don't want to hide anymore. I trace the strong line of his jaw with my fingertip. Do you? His answer is to lift me in his arms, carrying me toward his bedroom as thunder shakes the windows. And as he lays me down on his bed, worshiping me with touch and whispered confessions of love, I realized the most dangerous thing about this contract wasn't the arrangement itself. It was how completely I was willing to surrender to it. To him. Dawn breaks gray and gentle over Seattle, the storm having passed in the night. I wake in Alexander's arms, my head on his chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. His fingers trace lazy patterns on my bare shoulder, and I can feel the moment he realizes I'm awake. Good morning, he murmurs, pressing his lips to the top of my head. Is it? I tilt my face up to study his. In the soft morning light, he looks younger, the harsh lines of worry smoothed away. Your board meeting can wait. His arms tighten around me. Everything can wait. I want to believe him, but I know his world doesn't work that way. Alexander, I called my father this morning, while you were sleeping. His voice is steady, certain. Told him I won't be attending the meeting. My heart stutters. What? I told him I'm taking a different approach. That if the board doesn't like my leadership style, they're welcome to find a new CEO. He sits up, bringing me with him, his hands framing my face. I told him I found something more important than his approval. Tears blur my vision. You can't give up everything for me. I'm not giving up anything. I'm finally choosing what I want. His thumb brushes away a tear that escapes. You asked me once what I was afraid of. The truth, I was afraid of this, of loving someone more than the empire, of being vulnerable, of being human. And now I know that loving you doesn't make me weak. It makes me stronger, more focused, more myself than I've ever been. He leans his forehead against mine. The contract we signed was supposed to be about control, about maintaining boundaries. But what it really did was give us permission to find each other. I laugh through my tears. That's not very professional of us. No, he agrees, smiling. It's not. He kisses me then, soft and sure and full of promise. When we break apart, there's something different in his eyes, peace, maybe, or certainty. So what happens now? I ask. Now we rewrite the contract. He reaches for the bedside drawer, pulling out a pen and a legal pad. New terms, new conditions. Such as, he clicks the pen, assuming his negotiating posture even naked in bed. And the incongruity makes me giggle. First Amendment, the employee agrees to have dinner with her employer at least 3 times per week. That seems reasonable. Second Amendment, said dinners may be followed by extensive overtime activities. Heat pools in my belly at his suggestive tone. I'm listening. Third Amendment, the employee is required to tell her employer when he's being an arrogant ass. That might require hazard pay. Fourth Amendment, his voice grows serious. The employee agrees to stay through board meetings and family disapproval, and whatever other storms come our way, because her employer loves her more than he ever thought possible. The raw honesty in his voice steals my breath. And what does the employer agree to? Everything. He sets aside the pad, pulling me closer, to love her, to protect her, to spend the rest of his life proving he's worthy of her trust. His voice drops to a whisper, to marry her if she'll have him. My heart stops. Alexander, I know it's too soon. I know we should wait. Be practical. Think it through. I silence him with a kiss, pouring all my love and certainty into the connection between us. Yes, I whisper against his lips. Yes, yes to dinner 3 times a week. Yes to overtime activities. Yes to calling you an arrogant ass when necessary. I smile, feeling giddy and powerful and completely, utterly his. And yes to marrying you, Alexander Cross. Yes to all of it. The joy that transforms his face is breathtaking. He kisses me again, deeper this time, full of promise and forever. Outside, Seattle wakes up to a world washed clean by the storm. Inside, we create our own new world, one built not on contracts and control, but on trust and surrender and a love dangerous enough to change everything. Later, much later, as we lie tangled in his sheets, he traces the line of my spine with gentle fingers. No more contracts, he says, just promises. What kind of promises? The kind that matter, the kind that last. He pulls me closer, and I feel his smile against my skin. The kind that begin with I love you and end with forever. And as the morning light grows stronger, washing away the last shadows of doubt and fear, I know that this is just the beginning of our story. The dangerous, beautiful, impossible love story that started with a signature and ended with surrender, complete and total surrender. To each other. To forever.